So substantially louder here. All right, about 45 miles an hour. They're definitely singing. These are the Nitto Mud Grapplers, and although they're very easy to identify by their appearance, they're even easier to identify by their sound. But the question is, are they really that loud? We're gonna pretend to be scientists and figure that out. Okay, so now in order for us to figure out just how loud these mud graps really are, we gotta get a baseline. So that's what we're doing here. We got the stock tires on the F250. Sitting here at idle, it comes out to about 45 decibels. So we're gonna test these at several different speeds. So it looks like at 25 miles an hour, we're bouncing right around 55 to 57-ish. So at 45, you definitely start to pick up on wind noise. I don't really hear tire noise. And then our dB reader's bouncing around 58 to 60. So then up at 60 miles an hour, it's almost dead on. 60 miles an hour, 60 decibels. I have to laugh a little bit because this is remarkably quiet, and I just know that the mud graps are going to be significantly louder than this, because at 70 miles an hour, it's sitting at like 62 decibels roughly. So overall, the Bridgestone Duelers that are on here are remarkably quiet, but that's kind of to be expected for a stock highway tire. I guess technically these are all-terrains, but they don't look like an all-terrain to me. They look like a highway tire. Most of the noise that we hear inside the cab is from the wind, so now we'll have to see what the mud graps do. All right, so with the graps on at 25, there's definitely a noticeable hum already. Let's see what the meter says here. I'm gonna call it 57 to 59, roughly. But I can already hear these things rumbling, so we'll see what happens when we get up to speed. All right, about 45 miles an hour. They're definitely singing. It's already floating kind of right around high 60s, which was, I think, what we were getting on like the highway up on the other tires. Let's bring it up to about 60 miles an hour. So 60 miles an hour is around 68, 69. So substantially louder here. And we still gotta hit the highway. Hopefully we can carry on the conversation. All right, merging onto the interstate. Now I will say that at 70, it doesn't really seem actually all that much louder than 60, at least to my ears. See what the gauge tells us. Not crazy, pretty much hovering right at 70. So although they're louder, they didn't get exponentially louder once we got on the highway. And I would say that even though these tires are loud, you wouldn't have to yell to have a conversation here. I've driven in things that you would, but this is probably also not really any louder than like my Bronco, for example. Those things are very loud because they have really poor insulated qualities. So, yeah, I don't know, not that bad. So are mud grapplers loud? Yes, of course they're a little bit loud. That's to be expected. They're mud grapplers. That's a thick-ass board! But they're really not as bad as you might expect. And there's pros and cons here. When you leave the house, your wife's gonna know that you left. And when you pull up at your girlfriend's, you don't have to text her that you're there because she heard you coming.
Show me 100 for the extra shit. Don't you know that a killing is thrilling on the blood spill?
We can't actually play any of the music because it's all copyright, on YouTube. But we just proved that, with the right stereo system, it doesn't really matter what tires you have on this thing.